So, guys, this is RK. I'm going to start the today's session. So, if you are able to listen and able to see the screen, can you just confirm in the chat window, please? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. So, let's start this session. So, yesterday we have covered what are the basic requirements for a full stack developer and main stack developer, as well as what are the technologies you are going to learn in this program. So let me give you quick walkthrough about the things once again, then we can start the today's session. So these are the yesterday's agenda. So what are the UI technologies a developer should learn? So we are already means discussed this one. What are the technologies we should learn? HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript 6, as well as Angular as a JavaScript framework and Bootstrap, a CSS framework. These are the basic UI technologies any developer should learn. So if I want to work as a, so what is the next question we yesterday discussed? What is main stack development? So main stack is nothing but at the client side we are going to use Angular. At the server side we are going to use Node.js and Express.js, and at the backend database we are going to use the DB. So the main stack application is going to be look like this. At the client side, I'm repeating once again, we are going to use AngularJS, and at the server side we are going to use Express or Node.js, and at the backend we don't use the Oracle or SQL Server or in fact any real relational database systems. Instead of, we will go with NoSQL database system, which is MongoDB. So it is what a main stack development. So what is full stack development? Suppose I am looking for an enterprise application which can communicate with a very huge application clients, very huge client base, and segregated around browser based clients as well as what mobile application client, and I want to give with other web development teams also. At that time I should go for a full stack development, which is means server side application code we are going to create by using Java, .NET, as well as Node.js. So or we can use some other nowadays we can use PHP also. So these are the things as a full stack developer you are going to you should learn. What we are going to learn in this program? So in this program you are going to learn Angular 1.6 version, Angular 1.6 version. So remember, in this program you are going to learn 1.6 version. What are the other versions of Angular is available right now? 2, 4, 5, and 6 is going to be released in the April 4th, means tomorrow, or means it is based on the release cycle. If they are follow the release cycle thoroughly, means tomorrow is the version according to their website. So right now you can use either 1.6 version or any of these versions. So we can discuss this version related hierarchy in the coming session. What are the prerequisites? What are the prerequisites for the Angular JS? So as a developer, if you want to learn Angular JS, we should know a basic JavaScript. So is about today's agenda is about basic JavaScript overview, as well as different JavaScript use cases in the project related thing. So some of you yesterday means might doesn't get worry about my profile or something. Let me discuss about few things about my profile. So my name is RK. I am working as a UI architect in the Prodbase MNC. I have a plenty of experience, like 8+ years of experience as a web developer, as well as a full stack developer. Means I am very good at client side technology, as well as how to create a good Java based web application. Means I have good knowledge on client side technologies because I started my career as a web developer, as well as I am working as a full stack developer. That's why I have good knowledge on Java based applications also. And so far I trained around 25 Angular batches. Means it is both online as well as offline. Means what are the versions I trained? Means I trained Angular 1 on Angular 1 version, as well as 2, 4 and 5 also. So this is my profile, guys. Some of you are in the chat window asking for, sir, what are the things, let me know few things about you. That's why I'm giving this one. So guys, so this is my profile. So let's go into what we are going to cover today. So JavaScript basic concepts overview, because the prerequisites to learn Angular JS is JavaScript. So let's get overview about what JavaScript concepts, as well as different JavaScript use cases in the project. Different JavaScript use cases in the project. So let's jump into the session. So far, what are the JavaScript versions are released until now? The first version is released on 1997, and the latest version is in the companies we are using JavaScript 6. That is the latest version we are using, and this one is not yet supported by all browsers. So guys, in companies we always use the version which is supported by all browsers. Otherwise we will run into cross browser compatibility issues. Cross browser compatibility issues. So means very simple thing. Let me give you the overview about this one. What are the famous browsers? Internet Explorer, Chrome and Firefox. And what are the versions right now? 11, or we are going to call it as a what? Edge. And Chrome is around 40 or 50. Yes, it is 50 around, and Firefox is around 40. So these are the versions, and all these browsers are not implementing the standards in the right way, because there are some implementation related issues are there. So these issues are not supported by different browsers. So if you are writing a JavaScript code, always you need to make sure that you are going to work with cross browser compatibility issues. So this is another requirement of a web developer. Anyway, we are going to work with this one cross browser issues in the later sessions. But right now think about what is the current version of JavaScript version we are using in the companies? JavaScript 6, which is supported by most of the browsers. Which is supported by most of the browsers. Now, how to write a JavaScript? So, we need to write script tag in the HTML. How many ways I can write the script tag, and let me show you the thing. I am using Sublime Text. We don't use a notepad. We don't use a notepad plus plus or any other editor. We always use in the companies Sublime Text or any like WebStorm or Atom or brackets. So in the application development, JavaScript related development, what are the editors we are going to use? What is the first one? Or very good one? Sublime. Sublime. In the same way, another very useful one is what? Atom. Or we can use WebStorm, which is a commercial one, which JetBrains WebStorm related one. But right now I'm using Sublime, which is open source. You can download from the internet by simply typing Sublime Text download. You can get the version. You can get the based on your 32-bit version or 64-bit version based on your system. So right now I already downloaded and I am using this one. Why I need to use this editor? Let me show you. Very simple thing. Observe, I'm typing what? HTML. See, I'm getting all the intelligence by default if I use this editor. So if I am working with, suppose, let me show you how I am working with in the notepad. Now observe, if I am typing HTML, it is, we don't get any intelligence out of this editor. So we never use this kind of editors for development in the real world. Always we are going to use what? A very good IDE, so or editor for development. In the same way, observe, what is the tag I need to write to create any JavaScript code? You already well aware of this one. I'm using what tag? Script tag. So this is the way you are going to, here we will write our JavaScript code. So how to write the JavaScript code? Create a HTML file, create a HTML file and write what tag here? Script tag. Script type equal to text or JavaScript. So sometimes we are going to use external script file also. At the time I will go for src attribute, and what is we need to give the file path for the corresponding file. So at the time we don't have any script inside of this one, and we are going to provide abc.js. So all our JavaScript code will be available in what file now? abc.js. But right now I'm using the code which is inside of your HTML itself. So right now this is the way we are going to create our script in your HTML. Now what are the basic concepts of the JavaScript, or in fact any programming language? How to create a variable, means to store the data, and what kind of data types it's going to be supported, and where I need to write my logic, where I need to write my logic. So let me introduce JavaScript data types. In JavaScript, the data types are broadly divided into broadly divided into primitive data types as well as reference data types. Primitive data types as well as reference data types. So what exactly primitive data types? So guys, I'm always have question and answer session. So let me give you what is primitive data type. Primitive data type is nothing but directly we are going to have the value as a value stored in the memory directly. So right now one is a value and ABC is a value and true or false is a values. So all these are values. So we are having at most one value per memory location. So these kind of things we call it as a what? Primitive data types. What are the JavaScript supported primitive data types? So in JavaScript we have numbers, string, boolean, null, undefined. Very simplistic language, guys. That's why I like the JavaScript. So so what so in C we have integer, floating point, double, but in JavaScript we don't have that much variation. It is all these are combined into one data type. That data type is what? Number. So you can represent normal values, means it is nothing but integer values, as well as you can represent floating point values also with number. So right now how to create these data type variables. So let me discuss this one first, then we can create the variable later. In the same way we have strings also. Strings is nothing but in C we have character values as well as what? String value. Characters is nothing but if you have only one character, to represent only one character we have the character thing, and if you want to represent a group of values at the group of characters we call it as a what? String. But in JavaScript we don't have two data types, only one data type sufficient for both the thing, that is what? String. So by using this one you can represent a single character or we can represent a group of characters. So we don't have, it is what? Simplistic language. That is what I'm telling from the starting now. So we can represent a single character or we can represent a group of characters also. Sorry. So in the same way we can use double quotes or we can use single quotes to create a string variable. So listen carefully, guys. We can use a single quote to represent a string or we can use double quotes also. So this is what a string. So the next one, the next data type is what? Boolean. So it no need of any introduction. A Boolean value can be represented by either true or false values. Now coming to the interview question, we have null and undefined. Guys, just make a note about this one. What is null and what is undefined? In JavaScript, absence of value is considered as null. Absence of data type is considered as undefined. Guys, it is a famous interview question, and usual interview means usually we will ask the freshers to identify what can this guy make the difference between what is null and undefined. So let me create some variables and let me tell you the true difference between this one. So in JavaScript 10, so right now this variable becomes what? A number. If you are having some ABC here, this variable becomes what? A string. If we are having some true or false characters, true or false related one, at the time this one becomes what? Boolean. So technically, if I create like this, where I never have a data type. So absence of data type. Remember our earlier discussion. Absence of data type provides what? Undefined. So what is the data type of I now? Undefined. What is the data type of I now? Undefined. So let me run the example and let's understand the things. So right now I created I variable. Now what is the data type of I variable? It's going to be number. So sir, how can you sure about this one? Let me writing into the console. What is the one? How to identify a variable data type by using what keyword? Type of keyword. So let me run this one. Opening the browser and opening the HTML file. Now in the console you can see what is the type of I now? Means it is nothing but what is the data type of I? Number. So how you are going to get this information? Very simple one I am writing. What is the keyword I am using? Type of. So remember this point. So what is another interview point? We'll learn this one. How to identify the data type of a variable in JavaScript by using type of keyword. By using type of keyword. So this is another interview question. So right now we covered that so far. What are the things? What are the primitive data types? Let me walk through once again. We have number. We don't have integer or floating point or double one. All these are combined into number. And string. We don't have characters. Everything is we call it as a what? String. And how to create a string variable? By using single quotes or double quotes. How to create a string variable in JS. Answer for this one is by using single or double quotes. Both are fine. So the next one is what? Boolean. And next one is what? Null. Next one is undefined. So what is another interview question? What is the difference between what is the difference between null and undefined? Null is nothing but absence of value and undefined is nothing but absence of data type itself. So these are the things as a developer you need to understand about JavaScript data types. So how to identify the data type of a variable in the JavaScript by using what keyword? Type of keyword. So these are the things. Now, what are the reference data types? We are having arrays as well as what? Objects. Why we use arrays? To represent a group of values. To represent a group of values. So, sir, what are the group of values I usually get? So think about, I'm having student IDs. So at the time 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 6 7 8 9 10. So right now I am creating one variable, but I am representing multiple values. I am representing multiple values. So at the time I will go for array data type. So right now, what is the data type of I now? Array. Array data type. Arrays are represented as a what? Reference data types. Reference data types in the JavaScript. Means it's going to be stored in heap memory. It's going to be stored in heap memory. Objects we are going to cover in the tomorrow session. But right now observe, some of you are asking, sir, what is null data type? What is null data type? So right now, remember what is null from our discussion. What is null here? If you see the answer, what is null? Absence of value. Absence of value is nothing but null. So let me create a variable. So right now, I created the array, but I didn't provide any value for that. So observe how to access the data from the array by providing index position. Now tell me guys, do we have any data inside of this array? No, we don't have the data or values inside of the array. So at that time, it's going to be tell it as a what? Null. So absence of value is nothing but null. I guess I answered. I answered some of you are asking like, sir, when exactly I will get null? So right now I created the array, but what is the value inside of this one? We don't have the value. That's why it give you null. In the same way, observe. Can you give the data type of ID? No, we cannot give. Means when exactly the data type is going to be identified based on the value. So right now, what is the data type of ID? Number. In the same way, what is the data type of ID? String. What is the data type of ID now? Boolean. So based on the value it is possessing or it is having, it will identify the data type. Your JavaScript engine identify the data type. So these are the data types we are having so far. Object related one we are going to discuss in the tomorrow session, because we should have very means very good, we should have very good understanding about the objects so that we can understand AngularJS properly. We can understand AngularJS properly. So right now, what is the next thing in the JavaScript? Creating a function. Why we need to create a function, or what is the purpose of a function? I want to execute a group of statements every time. At the time I'm going to create how to logically group a JavaScript statements. I will go for a function. So right now let me show you the code. Right now how to create a function, it is a very easy one. Creating function m1. So right now the function name is what? M1. Here it is accepting name. Name is a variable, and I'm going to use this name variable, or let me create a very basic functionality, add, which is accepting I comma j value, and finally we are going to write the total value inside, means into the console, means is nothing but I plus j. Console is nothing but your printf statement for JavaScript. So right now I created the function. What is which function? Add function. How to execute this function or call this function add? By providing the values. How to test this function? Open this HTML file in the browser. I already opened this HTML file and I am refreshing once again. So now I am writing the value inside of the console. You can observe the value we are getting what? 30. So how to write a function, guys? How to write a function here? Create function, function name, I variable, j variable, and add 10 and 20. So, some of you are asking like, sir, what is the data type of I and what is the data type of j? Right now, when I am making this call, what is the value I am passing on? 10. At the time, I value becomes what? 10. Now tell me what is the data type of I? A number. In the same way, I am sending what value? 20. So now j value becomes what? 20. What is the data type of j? A number. So guys, understand it properly. So right now I am creating a function and I am calling a function. What is the interview question? What is the interview question? You are going to get it out. Question. What is function and when to use function? Answer for this one is function is a logical grouping of JavaScript statements to be executed. Be executed every time. So if you want to execute a group of statements every time, we need to write inside of a function. So this is the way we are going to answer the question. Now the next thing is, observe, we are going to call a function based on the event. Now observe, always once I open the application, automatically it is executing the function or not. But my requirement is I don't want to execute this function every time. So that's why, observe, we are going to create a button. Observe, we are going to tie up this one with the events. On click equal to add 10 comma 20. Guys, some of you are already have the knowledge on this one, but it is my duty to give you each and everything to learn AngularJS properly. I cannot assume everything you know. So please consider that. I need to give the things for each and every person. I need to consider each and every person. So follow the session properly. So I'm going to provide a button. What is the purpose of this one? I don't want to execute this one by default. I want to execute when we click on the button. So right now, when exactly this function is going to be executed? When we click on the button. When we click on the button. So observe, I'm refreshing the page. You can see the button now. Observe, once I click on this one, what will happen? It based on our configuration. What is the event here? Click event, and automatically it execute your add functionality. Automatically execute your add functionality. So this is your functionality. So what we are doing here, writing into the console. It is nothing but how to activate your console by pressing F12 key. So make a note about that. How to see or how to debug JavaScript issues, as well as how to debug JavaScript issues, as well as debug log statements. Answer for this one is open developer tools by pressing F12 key. So guys, how to work with the JavaScript debugging. Anyway, we are going to learn in the next session. But right now, how to open this developer tools, guys, very simple one. Press F12 key. So right now, by default, it is not executing our add functionality. But once I click on this one, you can observe, it is executing or not. So this is the way we are going to tie up our functionality with the events. With the events, what are the events are available with the JavaScript? There are so many events are available, but most prominent one are what? Click, change, mouse over, mouse out, key press, key down. Likewise, there are so many. Likewise, there are so many events are there. Now tell me guys, how to work with the JavaScript. I'm going to give you the overview about this one before I go into the different things. What is the first step? How to work with the JavaScript? We are going to have first one is what? Data types, variables, functions, and events. These are the basic concepts in the JavaScript. What are the data types so far? Data types are divided into primitive data types as well as reference data types. So primitive data types are number, means it is it represent a single value. It represent a single value, means in the JavaScript we have number data type, string data type, Boolean data type, null and undefined. We don't have integer, floating point, or double like we have in other programming languages. All these are combined into number. In the same way, we don't have character, and it is also combined and called as string data type. We have true and false statements as a Boolean data type, false values as a Boolean. We have null and undefined. Null means absence of value. Undefined means absence of data type. Absence of data type. Very, very important interview question. So these are the things. Sir, I define a variable. How to identify the data type of a variable? By using type of keyword. By using type of keyword. So this is the way we are going to get it. Now, how to create a string variable? By using either single quotes or double quotes. So these are the data types related things. In the same way, how to create a function and when to create a function. So guys, function can be created by using function keyword, and when to use the function to logically group the JavaScript statements to be executed every time I will create a function. In the same way, how to debug JavaScript issues and see log statements by opening developer tools. So far, you can open the developer tools by pressing F12 key. Now I'm going to run this example once again. If you call the function directly here, it's going to be execute once we open the browser, like 10 comma 20. Every time we open the browser, what is the job of the your browser? Read the code and execute any JavaScript calls, function calls. Right now I provided the function call and automatically it will call this function. But my requirement is I don't want to call this one immediately and based on the user interaction, I want to call the function. That's why I'm creating a button. And what is the event? On click, I'm calling the function add function. So once I click on this function, one click on this button, it automatically execute what function? Add function. Automatically execute a add function. So in this add function, we are writing what? Console.log. Console.log. So this is the way you are going to work it out. So guys, so far we covered data types and corresponding function declarations and events related declarations. So right now we are using click event. In the same way, remember we have change event, mouse over event, mouse out event also. Let me quickly write a simple one. Try to understand. Tomorrow we can have this. We can discuss more about this one. On mouse over equal to M1, and I am passing the current object. So what is the function we are writing? M1 here, and here we are going to say obj. So right now observe obj dot style dot border equal to 1 pix solid blue. So let me quick walk through once again. By default, we don't have any border for this button, but I am automatically provides a border here. You can observe once I mouse over, according to our functionality, it is executing what function? M1 function. What we are writing here, tomorrow we can discuss. But observe, I can change the style of the I can change the style of what element? Button element. So right now what is the event we tied here? Right now whatever the code we are having here is not matter of concern. Right now our event is what? Mouse over event, and we can execute what function? M1 function. Likewise we are having what functions here? What events here? Click event, change event, mouse over event, mouse out event, key press event. So likewise we have so many events tomorrow we can discuss about these events and function integrations. So, so far we are reviewed what are the basic concepts about the JavaScript. What are they? Data types, creating a variable, creating a function, and tied, tying the function with the events. So this is what today's agenda. And guys, tomorrow agenda is what? Working with different use cases. So what are they? How to change the content of HTML or modify the content or add the content of HTML by JavaScript. How to change the style. You can observe right now I added a border by JavaScript. How to add such kind of thing. JavaScript is very good at what changing styles or hiding the items, elements based on your requirement. So in the same way, how to interact with the server by writing Ajax related logic. So tomorrow we can discuss this one. And some of you are asking like, sir, what is undefined now? So guys, observe where I equal to 0. I am repeating once again this one, guys. So right now, what is the variable I am creating? I variable. What is the data type of I? A number. In the same way, suppose if I define the variable like this, can you tell what exactly the data type of I? We cannot determine. Means absence of data type we call it as undefined. Absence of data type we call it as what? Undefined. So guys, I'm concluding the session, and tomorrow's class very important one, and what we are going to discuss, how to modify the content as well as how to create the content, as well as how to modify the style, how to use it, how to add a new style, how to interact with the server by using what? Ajax. Tomorrow we can meet at the same time. Let's answer few questions. How do you how do we get this video recording? Devesh, just subscribe to the YouTube. You will get this one. Sir, which engine we use in JavaScript? By default, your browser have JavaScript engine. We no need to provide anything. Present JavaScript version. Right now, JavaScript 6 is going on uh, Koti. Will you share this PPT? Of course, I will give you the PDF. Can I directly learn Angular 2? It is good to learn Angular JS, then learn Angular 2. You will have a good career, Pratap. How Angular is useful for PHP developer, Satish. PHP is a server-side programming, and at the client side we will use